All right, welcome back to the Unbridled Living in Costa Rica podcast. Hey, today we're going to be looking at, if I go to Panama and if I buy some stuff, how much cheaper is it to buy stuff in Panama versus what I would get, the exact same thing in Costa Rica? Can I actually save money, considering that, hey, it might cost me some time, but it might cost me gas to get there. So we're going to take a look at that, kind of talk a little bit about Panama, what it looks like to go over there to the border, but just to kind of give you some ideas, give you a feeling, just so that you kind of see maybe a difference between Costa Rica and Panama as far as we're talking about money, right? Because everybody knows Costa Rica is the most expensive Latin America country to live in for expats. Well, probably for everybody. But first, hey, this is your first time here. Well, I'm Alan, and that's my wonderful co-host, Rebecca. Hey, why don't you put your mic on? And hey, we've been living in Costa Rica for over 11 years, lived in over 25 different places, houses, locations, traveled all over the place, and really just, absorbed as much as we could about the culture, Pura Vida life, what's it like to live as an expat, all that good stuff. And we just have lots of fun sharing our knowledge with you. Now, keep in mind, but wait, what do we do on this channel? Oh, we help con you. I mean, we move you to Costa Rica. No, we don't do anything. We don't have any products or services to sell. We do this really just to kind of help you because we have been conned. We've lost a lot of money trusting people, YouTubers, other people who we thought might be honest, okay? Whether they were expats, whether they was Ticos, and keep in mind, not every expat, not every Tico is going to con you, but we do live in a day and an age where people will con you, don't think twice about it, because they have an ulterior motive. It's all about themselves, okay? So anyway, let's, before we get into it, as always, hey, what have we been doing on the Off-Grid Homestead?
There's a lot been going on, but you were gone all last week again.
Kicked me out of the house. Can you believe it? Built this brand new place. You kicked me out of the house for a week. No, I was, we might actually talk about next week. I was gone all week. I did actually have an appointment in San Jose, and we're going to be talking about that. But, since I had an appointment, I thought, well, I got to take my vehicle to do some maintenance work on it. And probably one of the biggest horrors, not just for expats, for Ticos alone, even.
Ticos too.
Ticos is getting your car repaired, finding an honest repairman. Oh, my goodness, it could be a nightmare. You could, woo, boy. But, hey, everybody knows, especially women in the United States, man. A woman going to a mechanic, they automatically assume she don't know what an oil change is, And they, man, we changed your oil and it cost $300. The oil screw got lost, and anyway, there's all kind of crazy nightmares about mechanics. And look, if you think it's bad in the United States, multiply that by 10 in Costa Rica, okay? But can you find an honest mechanic?
Sure.
That's right, you can. So we'll be talking all about that and in another video. But I was gone all week, and it was just insane going around trying to find someone to do some repair work on my car.
You were supposed to be back Wednesday.
I was supposed to be back Wednesday. When did I come back?
Friday.
Everything takes longer in Costa Rica. If you're in a hurry, we are. Learn how to change. Pura vida. I hate that word. Anyway, so, didn't get to do all the kind of stuff I wanted to do on the homestead, but hey, you still got to do maintenance to your house, your cars, your children, your wives, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, but today, let's get back to it. Talking about Panama. So we went to Panama. How come we went to Panama?
We had to stamp out.
That's right. So we had to go stamp out, and hey, border run, right? And I hate going to Paso Canoas. It's the worst place in the world to go to. I will eventually do a video on that. But anyway, it's the worst place in the world to go do a border run.
But it's probably getting better.
It is.
You haven't done the video yet.
Might get better.
But it might end up being the place to go.
I'm wondering. I can't wait to see. Will it become the place to go? right?
I'm hopeful.
Yeah, me too. So anyway, well, since we were there, we thought, well, we'd go pick up some groceries and stuff because, hey, you guys know that when I cook, I like to cook a huge big batch. And so when I shop, I also like to buy in bulk. So hey, do Ticos buy in bulk in Costa Rica?
Not typically.
Not typically. Anyone that buys in bulk, they probably have a grocery store or a restaurant, but it's not common for people to buy in bulk. So if it's not common for people to buy in bulk, one of the first things we discovered what did we discover? First time we coming here, we'd see 2 or 3 small bags and we'd see a big bag, and what'd we find out?
Well, different from in the U.S. When you buy in bulk in the U.S., you usually, almost 99% of the time, you're going to have a savings. But we found that whether you're buying 1 pound of coffee or a 10-pound bag of coffee, it's the same price per pound or per ounce or whatever measurement here is in grams.
And in some cases, the bigger package was more expensive than buying 2 of the small packages.
Yeah, that did occur too. And we realized from renting and living all over the place that the way the houses are made here, typically there's not a lot of cabinets and there's hardly ever a pantry and seldom closets, built-in closets. People have furniture or they, put rods or whatever, but hardly ever built-in closets. And I think the only places that I've seen a pantry has been the gringo houses that we've house sat in. I mean, I'd have to really think, but
right. I agree with you. I don't
almost
recall
any house that we've rented to live in or that we've I don't think we've ever house sat in every time we house sat, it was for a gringo or a Canadian.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
It was Canadian or United States, built.
Right. But I have, because I work with a lot of the locals, I have been in a lot of local houses, way more so than Rebecca. And, in most kitchens, very rarely do they, when they build a house, they just don't build cabinets. They don't. Okay, so it's usually a cement building with a cement counter.
There's hardly ever any overhead counter cabinets. And the under storage, like under the cabinet, is usually just one single shelf. A lot of times with if there's a shelf. A lot of times there's no shelf, and there's hardly ever any doors. Right. And so that's the difference between when we say like an American style or built house versus a Tico built house. Just the typical out in the countryside. We're not talking about the condos in Jaco and in the
we're never talking about
San Jose metropolitan area, because they have some really fine Tico builds there. Very nice houses that we've stayed in, like Airbnbs when we're waiting to get on the plane. But just the typical out in the countryside, little town, very basic. No closets, no pantry, and like I said, cabinets that often don't even have a shelf at the bottom. So my point with that was they don't tend to buy in.
Yeah, they don't tend to buy in bulk because there's no place to store anything.
Right. Think about even in the United States when you have a pantry and you have closets, even to go shop at like the big warehouse type stores. You come back with 32 rolls of paper towels and 48 rolls of toilet paper, and it's like a 5 or 10 pound bag of sugar and rice. Where do you put all of that?
That's right.
So you can imagine here, and most people just it's the custom or it's a daily lifestyle to go shopping every other day.
If they look forward to that.
Of course, that's where they socialize,
That's right.
You go to the little bread store in the morning, get your bread, then you go to the little meat store.
No. Wait, stop. You go to the bread store to get your bread. You talk for 15 minutes to the cashier while the gringo behind you is fuming. Would you talk somewhere else? I just want to buy my bread and leave.
Yeah, go home, gringo.
Go home, gringo.
If you're going to have that attitude, you are going to be miserable because these people socialize. They're very friendly. It's like it was, 30 years ago or longer
Yeah,
longer
50
than 30
years ago
years,
in the
50
United
years
States.
ago in the United States.
Yeah.
So, and the United States is missing out a lot of that. People our age and older miss that. We miss that. But I don't like going to all the different little shops because I don't walk. And if you have to find a parking spot, it's a nightmare with parking.
It's big difference. So we're talking about shopping and kind of help you get an idea of the humongous differences of life in Costa Rica shopping, and we're going to do some cost comparison about Panama, because Panama is pretty much the same. Okay, and hey, I agree with Randy. Randy says he loves to socialize. And hey, I'm finally. I hate to admit it. I'm that gringo that be like, rah, 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 I wish you'd stop talking. Let me buy my stuff. Get out of here. But I'm changing. I'm adapting to life in Costa Rica and learning. Every time I go into town, I'm like, okay, God help me, Lord, not to get mad. Help me not to go crazy, and help me not to go postal. But I'm changing and accepting. It's the culture. And so when you'll never change the culture. The culture is what it is. It'll always be that way.
We hope it doesn't change. It is changing some.
Yeah.
People, you see a lot more people on their cell phones, and not the younger people don't tend to socialize as much, it seems like.
Yeah.
But such as happens with
it seems
with the technology.
Yeah.
But
so, by the way, hey, welcome everybody that's here. I see Eduardo, Randy, Pamela, Till, and Pam. Tell your honey to check his WhatsApp. I sent him a message, I don't know, 3 days ago. Tell him what's up with that. It is what's up. What's up?
It's not WhatsApp. It's WhatsApp.
They should have called it what's up. Anyway,
I
sent him some messages on WhatsApp. Ask him to check it for me. Pamela's coming to visit me in Costa Rica. She really doesn't like Costa Rica, but she does like Rebecca, so she comes to see Rebecca. So anyway,
they love Costa Rica.
Man, I can't wait for Pam and Tom to move to Costa Rica. Yeah. So anyway, but let's talk about something, because is it worth driving? And let's just say,
yeah, we were talking about bulk.
Yeah, buying bulk, right?
You can buy bulk in
Panama
and get somewhat of a savings, whereas
you can. Well, let's see here. Can you buy bulk in Panama? Okay, and when I say buy bulk, well, here's what I say. Here's the deal. In all honesty, like in I think Panama and Costa Rica is very similar. And when I go buy bulk in Panama, I'm buying 10 liter or 10, is it liter kilos? 10 liters. I'm buying 10 kilos of, I'm buying 10. I mean, a lot of things will come in liter size bags. Okay. Or is it liters or it's 1,000 grams? Anyway, whatever the size is. Instead of buying 1 or 2 bags of rice, I buy 10 bags of rice.
Yeah, let me correct myself. When we're doing that in Panama, it's not so much for the savings of buying in bulk. It's to get the savings per item, and we don't go that often. Okay. So, for example, honey mustard. You eat honey mustard on every sandwich, and we use it as a dip and so forth. So it's like $2 a container here in Costa Rica. Same size container in Panama is $1. And so we pretty much clean out the shelf.
That's right. So
buy all the packets. Yeah. We buy in little, like 20 little packets, but
so
it's keep in mind, $20 savings.
Right. But when we're going to buy bulk in Panama, it's not like going to Sam's, where Sam's, or Costco, and you buy bulk. You're buying this humongous package of 48 rolls of toilet paper. You're going buying individual packages, but you're buying 20 of them because it's almost half price. Okay. So when we say we're going to Panama to buy bulk, well, you're just going to go buy a bunch of packages. I'd go buy, instead of buying 1 or 2 packs of rice, 1 or 2 packs of rice, I'm buying 20 bags of rice. Okay. So to share with you, can you save money? Now, I won't say everything that you would buy in Panama is cheaper, but the majority of the stuff that you would buy in Panama is cheaper.
For example, soap is not cheaper.
Yeah, some things going to be about the same price.
Seasonings are not cheaper. It depends. Right. I mean, you'll learn it. You'll figure it out.
So let's give you some examples. Okay. For example, when we go to Panama, I try to go to Panama on empty. I almost run out of gas before I get to the gas station in Panama. Okay. So I ride to Panama and I got some figures sitting here on my other screen. Okay. I got to Panama and I was almost on empty. And when I filled up my tank, it's $76.78 for that full tank. Now that was almost 88 liters of gas. Okay. And we say liters instead of gallons because they sell their gas by the liters. In Costa Rica and Panama sell it by the liter instead of by the gallon, which we're used to in the United States. Okay. Now, so what I did was as soon as we left Panama, a couple of days later, I went to the very first gas station and I checked to see what the price was there. Now, keep in mind that in Costa Rica, the government controls the gas prices. So in the United States, I had a grocery store and I had gas stations, and my slogan was I'm going to have the cheapest gas around. And so, I mean, gas could vary tremendously in the United States, but in Costa Rica, the gas is everywhere. Okay. And so I went to the first gas station.
Which is nice. You don't have to price shop.
Yeah, you don't have to price shop.
I mean, in the U.S., there are apps on your phone to tell you where the lowest
the lowest gas price.
Price.
So anyway, I spent almost $77 for a full tank of gas. And if I'd have gone and got the exact same kind of gas, okay, in Costa Rica, it would have cost me $110. Okay. That is almost $34 savings. $34 savings in just my gas alone on one full tank. So to kind of give you an idea, okay, well, what's the difference? Is it, okay, well, it was 87 cents a liter versus $1.31 a liter. That's a huge difference. Okay. So I saved I saved almost $34 just on a tank of gas. Now, I needed to get some septic tanks. So pretty soon, I'm installing the whole septic system here. I bought 2 septic tanks. Well, while I was there, I got a 1,100 liter, or it's actually 1,170 liter septic tank. Okay. Well, I bought 2 of them, which cost me $450 for the 2. But to get one 1,100 liter tank, so it was actually 70 liters larger, not a big deal. So they were about the same size. So an 1,100 liter septic tank in Costa Rica would be 155,000 colones. If you convert that, that would be $306.71. But you have to pay the IVA. That IVA is 13% tax. So if you multiply that twice, okay, I would have had to buy 2 tanks, which would have been $613.42 times the IVA. That's $79, almost $80. Okay, it would have cost me $693.16. Okay, $693 versus $450 what I paid in Panama. $243.16 savings. Cha-ching! I saved nearly $250 just buying 2 septic tanks in Panama. Okay.
Yeah. Now that savings paid for the trip.
That paid for the trip by itself.
But because of the distance and the price of gas, we don't usually drive there for no reason. The cost of the gas eats up eats up your savings. But we do have to go periodically.
We do have to go periodically.
Same with going to San Jose. It's a 6-hour drive for us. So it's not like we're going to drive to PriceSmart to go buy in bulk and have a little bit of savings, because it's, unless you're going for something else, the travel eats up your savings.
Now, keep in mind, if you're trying to buy in bulk, you can buy in bulk. It's worth it to go. So, hey, it's worth it, actually. I mean, now we have to go to Panama to stamp out once every 6 months. Well, it's worth it for me to go once every 3 months and buy in bulk and buy my groceries, because it's like Rebecca was saying earlier with the honey mustard. Hey, we normally go to town and, I might go once a month or once every week and buy only 2 or 3 packs of honey mustard. Well, if I go to Panama, I buy 20 or 30 or 40. Well, then the money that I've saved, I've been racked up $20 or $30. Well, that plus all the other stuff adds up. Here is another. I got three examples for you. So I already told you about the gas, the septic tank. Well, my poor old car. it leaks oil, and it leaks a lot. And whether it leaks oil or it uses oil, okay, it does both, really. Anyway, oil can be expensive, okay? Now, look, in my opinion, oil is oil, especially if you have a 26-year-old vehicle and it uses oil, drinks oil, like Rebecca drinks her coffee and
tea.
and tea. Well, okay. So to me, oil is oil, in my opinion. I go to Panama, I can buy a gallon of oil. Wait, no, I'm not even going to tell you. In Costa Rica, a typical gallon of oil could easily cost you anywhere from, the cheapest I found was 21,600 colones, or it translates to $42.74 for a gallon of oil. Can you imagine? Almost $50 for a gallon of oil. Okay. Now, of course, you have to multiply that by 13% for the EVA. And so it comes out to be $48.29 for a gallon of oil. Gallon of oil. Dang. Okay. And, you know, if I have to drive out a lot, I might could use up that gallon of oil in a month or a month and a half. Okay. So while I was in Panama, I bought 8 gallons of oil. I would say guess, but you would never guess how much I paid for a gallon of oil in Panama. Okay. Anybody want to guess? All right. In Panama, I paid $11 for a gallon of oil. I bought 8 of them. That's $88 for 8 jugs of oil. Well, if I'd have bought that same 8 jugs of oil in Costa Rica, 8 gallons, it would have cost me $531. That is a total savings of $443.19. Cha-ching!
Now that was worth the trip.
Was that ever worth the trip? Now, it might take me a year to use up all that oil, but that's okay. Okay. But I use oil, you know, of course, I'm going to use oil. I got to change oil in the lawnmower. I got to change oil in the generator. I got to change oil in Rebecca. I mean, I got to change oil in everything. So, you know,
I am starting to squeak.
Yeah. Hey, look, let me tell you something. You talking about tight? That woman is so tight. Have you ever heard that? Have you ever heard this phrase? She's so tight, her butt squeaks when she walks. That's Rebecca.
Why? I don't believe in throwing money away.
I agree. I don't believe in throwing money away. So that is a good point. Good point. Okay. So
you're lucky I'm not wasteful.
Yeah, I'd be broke. Wait a minute. I am broke.
It ain't my fault.
All right, can't blame that one on her. Oh well. So the point is, you can save a lot of money if you go to Panama and you buy in bulk. Remember, you're not buying big huge bags, because really the only thing that I have noticed in Costa Rica that is common to buy in bulk is if you buy big bags of rice. And sometimes you can find big bags of beans.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
well, that's because they eat that a lot.
Yeah. Now, see, for me, I can't find big bags of rice because we buy the integral, or that's the whole rice, or the brown rice. We buy the brown rice because I try to eat really healthy. And so I have looked the world over, and in Costa Rica, you cannot find big bags of brown rice. You just find a regular 1,000-gram bag of rice.
Yeah. I don't know if it's in the U.S.
Oh, no, in the U.S., I have found bigger bags of brown rice in the United States. So anyway, if you go to Panama, you most definitely can save. Now, like Doug's, this is good to know. No way. Doug says, yeah, oil is expensive. I had my oil change in a 2012 Hyundai Tucson diesel. Holds 8 quarts of oil, a synthetic, at $13 a quart plus the service. Ow!
Yeah, that's a quart.
That's
so
$13 a quart.
4 quarts in a gallon.
I bet you that's $13 a quart. Is that $13 a quart in the United States, or would that be in Costa Rica? I'm kind of curious. That might be. I don't know which one is that. Is that Costa Rica or United States?
Well, you can buy expensive oil.
Oh, look,
in the U.S. The brand does matter.
That's why I wasn't sure which one he's talking about.
This price comparison that you're doing is like just the cheapest oil that you can find.
Yeah, what I'm telling you about the oil is I'm looking for the cheapest oil around. Okay. So anyway, so yeah, lots of. So you can say now. what about Panama? Well, when we go to Paso Canoas, man, that place has really just, there's been a lot of changes. I'm going to have to do another video on Paso Canoas because, man, it's changed a whole lot.
You took a ton of footage.
I did take a ton of footage, but when we do these lives, it's the time to put it together. But I'm going to do another video and put all of that footage together and a lot of more, because I took a lot. Not only did I do a lot of footage, I took pictures of some of the exact items that we buy in Costa Rica that we could buy there, and I want to do a cost comparison just to give you an idea on some of the things that you can save money on.
And Paso Canoas has a new little mall.
Yeah, Paso Canoas has grown up now, so it's grown a lot. But there's one thing that has not changed about Paso Canoas, and I can't honestly say that this is true about all of Panama, but it is true about Paso Canoas. That's one nasty, dirty, trashy place, man. Gosh, dog it. I mean, you walk around, there is garbage everywhere. It's like they just don't care. Are they just nasty people or what? And Panamanians not nearly as friendly. It's mind blowing to me, And
I think it's because we go in that commercial area, where all the stores are, and they have all those little vendors that just set up like a tent with some crates, and
and they're setting
and they throw their trash in the street. They just throw it on the ground.
Trash will be all in the ditch.
In fact, when we were there, it rained it came a really hard
flash flood.
A downpour, and the street flooded really fast. The trash was floating in the street.
I mean, it's just everywhere. Now, one of the things I don't like about going to Paso Canoas is that you always got some con artist there, and he's trying to sell you, I got a brand new iPhone. Don't do it. Don't fall for it, because, you get any of these people that are on the street trying to sell you stuff, it's not a real iPhone. It might look like a real iPhone, but the guts are not an iPhone. Don't tell me how I know. I am not admitting to nothing. You ain't got no proof. You ain't got no proof.
Neither do you. Threw it away.
I gave that phone. I think I gave that phone to Barry. Whoops! Did I think I just. What do they call that in court? I just guilted myself. What is it? What is that word?
I don't know what you're trying to think of.
Anyway,
you just indicted yourself.
Yes. So anyhow, don't buy when someone's trying to sell you stuff. Those vendors on the street telling you you're not going to save no money.
And what's that? You knew better.
I knew better.
You knew better. Why did you do that?
I wanted to see.
That's so tight and tries to hold on to every penny, and you just throwing it away to the street vendors.
So don't make that mistake, And look, I had fun with him too, because I calmed him down. Cheap. He started out like $300. I got him down to $100 for a $1,000 iPhone. I should have used that $100 bill for toilet paper. So anyway,
perjured.
That's the word I was looking for, Doug. I knew there was some intelligent people on this call.
Yeah, and pigs. No, we have not found cornmeal. Did we look in Panama? It's the same type groceries, though.
It is. Yeah,
it's like you cross the border, but it's the same. It's just the price changes.
Pigs. When are you going to bring me? Are we talking about bulk buying? I want at least 5 bags of cornbread. And while you're here, I'll make you some good old cornbread, okay? And then we're going to have us a big old, man, have you ever, hey, go get them figs. Go get them figs out of the pan. Have you ever had a bowl of, I grew up in South Louisiana, poor man, okay, poor boy. And one of the meals that we would eat would be fresh cornbread broken up in a bowl, poured over with some milk. I mean, and that would be kind of a cereal. But we always had figs. We were poor. My aunt had 2 big old, humongous fig trees. And so she canned figs for us. And look, man, eat a bowl of cornbread and you have some fig preserves in there. Oh, man.
I know you're not about to compare these dried up figs to some fig preserves that your mama made from scratch.
I know. But look at these figs right here, because I got to tell you about these figs, I'm a health nut, and I like something sweet from a sweet tooth once in a while. And you can get these over at Price Smart. And these are sun-dried figs. But golly. I mean, after you've eaten supper, you want
Just something sweet.
something sweet. You get 2 or 3 of them and talk about good, right? Those things are really good. And hey, look, I agree with Pamela too.
Yeah.
Crackling cornbread, fresh milk, and look,
There's no other way to eat cornbread to me.
that's right. Now it's better if you have fresh squeezed milk, fresh from the cow's teat. Man, ooh, golly, that's good. Man, how good is it?
Your tongue beats your brains out.
It's
trying
so
to get to
good. If you put that bowl of cornbread milk on top of your head, your tongue beats your brains out trying to get it. That's good cornbread now. Man.
I even like the Jiffy cornbread.
Oh man, she'll eat anything.
Well, I do. I like the salty cornbread, like the homemade, like how you'll make it, how my grandfather made it, and we'd crumble it up, or sometimes he would like fry it. I don't know how he would do it. He fried it. He called it kush kush. I don't know if anybody else.
You know, well, Louisiana kush. How many of you know what Jiffy cornbread? Jiffy cornbread comes in a box. If you know what Jiffy cornbread in a box is, you know, give me a 10 or something, so I know you know what we're talking about.
Jiffy and I like that. It's sweet.
Yeah.
It's good with milk.
Now, Eduardo says, make some good chicharrones with a good cold cerveza. Woo, I'm with you, Eduardo. When are you coming to bring me some chicharrones and a cold cerveza? Yeah. A good old cold islands.
I've learned to appreciate chicharrones. When we first got here, I had some that were bad.
Weren't that good. Yeah,
they still, like, they tasted the pig. Like, I almost could taste the oink.
Oink.
And it would turn me off. I didn't ever order them again. But our neighbor made some. His dad is like 80 years old, and they made some, and those were really good. So I started giving them another try in the restaurants, and yeah, that's some good stuff. I find they're similar to what we make in Louisiana. We call it cracklins. Yeah. But the cracklins have a lot more of the skin, the fat.
Yeah.
The chicharrones are more of the meat.
More meaty. Mm-hmm.
But it's the same texture and the same flavor.
Yeah. Now here's an interesting thought. Matter of fact, I think some of the best chicharrones we had, maybe you agree, maybe not, it was at our neighbor's house. Mm-hmm. You know, and now here's what's interesting. My neighbor. Now I'm talking about my neighbor's father. Okay. So my neighbor, you know, we do a lot of stuff together, okay? And his father, they've been here for 60 years. They were the first person out in this area, okay? Middle of nowhere. Now, they still, to this day, 60 years later, have never had a refrigerator, never had hot water, okay? And so anyway, his most favorite thing is chicharrones and some rum. So every once in a while, I'll go to Paso Canoas and I'll bring him a bottle of rum. Now, that's another thing. You can get real cheap. This right here is a Panama rum. It's called Abuelo, or grandfather, okay? And now this is a great big bottle. This bottle is a 1.75 liter bottle, okay?
You can see it says product of Panama.
Yeah, and now this big old bottle of rum, you'll never guess the price on that thing.
I think our camera got drunk.
Yeah. Yeah. Why was that camera drinking that rum? I can't see.
He's all blurry-eyed now.
So anyway, it maybe he a little focus. He lost focus. Stop drinking that rum. Anyway, that rum by itself is normally $12 for that big jar of rum, big bottle of rum. And I'm not going to tell you how many I bought, but I got a deal they got a little bit of a cut at $11.
You bought enough for them to give you a cut. That's all you got to say.
Well, you just made me sound like an alcoholic.
No, you're not.
Was that why the video camera was blurry?
It's just so expensive here. I wonder how much that would have cost. You don't even bother buying it here.
Well, you cannot find that size jar in Costa Rica. Now, I can't remember. I'd be lying to you. But let me see if I can fix this camera here.
Look, Brudor says incriminated. Yeah, that's more the word. That's incriminated right. Yourself.
I perjured or I incriminated myself earlier. So anyway, come on, camera. I don't know why our camera, there it goes. It's starting to focus now. Woo, Woo, it took that long to get his hangover.
He had too much abuelo.
So yeah. So anyway, now that's one thing. If you, I don't hardly drink that much hard alcohol, and I'm not that crazy about a cerveza, a good Cold Islands apple juice. What I really like is a good wine. I'm a wine connoisseur. I like a good wine, and that's why I kind of make my own wine. But when it comes to alcohol, you can go to Paso Canoas, or you can go to Panama, and you can buy a lot of wine and a lot of alcohol and get it very, very, very cheap. Okay. Now, some things don't make any sense to me. For example, Costa Rica doesn't have good ice cream, but Dos Pines is a huge factory that makes milk, ice cream, yogurts, all kind of stuff. Anyway, Dos Pines, a company in Costa Rica, takes ice cream that they make here and they sell it in Panama, and it will be cheaper in Panama than here. What's up with that?
I know. That's really like, what's
How
the
is that
deal?
possible, right?
I mean, we see the manufacturing company building right there in San Isidro, right?
Yeah. I mean, we see.
So we can buy it cheaper in Panama than in San Isidro.
In Costa Rica. That doesn't make sense, right? So
some of the comments, that's what I was laughing at.
Yeah. Edward's like, hey, are we going to school having fun? No, today we just gonna get drunk. That's all. We're gonna have a party.
School's out.
School. Hey, this is graduation day. Doug's talking to you, Rebecca. You in the back, quiet down. So anyway, so you can buy a lot of alcohol. Now I'm gotta warn you, if you're gonna buy a lot of alcohol in Panama, now keep in mind in Paso Canoas, anytime you go to Panama, a few miles from the border, there's going to be almost always a checkpoint.
You're about to incriminate yourself again, aren't you?
I hope not.
Somebody asked this question about if you have to pay taxes. Earlier in the feed, further up. I was going to bring you back around to it. As before we started with the chicharrones.
Paying, well, yeah, but anyway, and look, like Z-Mart's 50 says, shampoo is really cheap in Paso Canoas. Yeah. So there's a lot of things that are really cheap. And you can
find brands in Panama that you can't find in Costa Rica. So some of the shopping things are different. Yeah. It's above, let me see. It was at the very beginning.
Well, yeah, so there it is right there. So JR asked a really good question. Do you have to pay taxes at the border to bring all that stuff back? Only if you get caught. I mean,
there are laws.
Wait, what?
I'm not going with you anymore.
So, and now keep in mind, this is really kind of a technical thing. In reality, when you go to the border, like you go into the city mall, it is a tax-free zone, really. So
yeah, it's legal.
It's legal. So you're not doing anything illegal. And so when you walk into like one of our favorite stores called the City Mall, it's right on the border. You walk into the front door and you're in Costa Rica. You walk out the back door, you're in Panama. It's on the border. Okay. So when you buy stuff there, it's tax-free. So it's not supposed to cost you anything, and you're going in and out. Normally, you will never, ever, ever, ever have a problem.
They call it duty-free. And there's another place in Golfito that is also duty-free.
That's right. Now, I'm glad that you saw that. I skipped that. So here's what's important. If you go to Panama and you buy 10 cases of Coors Light, you buy 10 cases of Abuelo rum, you buy a bunch of alcohol, and you leave and you get to one of them checkpoints, they're going to confiscate all of that, because it ain't no way in the world any gringo, even a drunk, is buying that much for
Yeah,
himself.
I mean, you're buying, that's not for resale, and it's not enough for them to consider that for resale.
That's what she's saying. If you get stopped at one of them checkpoints, and there's always a checkpoint a few miles from the Panama border, is to check and see, are you trying to get in a bunch of stuff and resell in Costa Rica? Because they know you can go to Panama, you can buy it so much cheaper, buy a whole bunch, take it to your store, resell it, take that alcohol to your restaurant, resell it. So
it's so much cheaper that apparently Ticos take the risk, they take the chance, because we have seen trucks pulled over with our own 2 eyes, and them
piles of alcohol on the side of the road. Right,
them taking it off of their truck. You know, they were disguising the truck as like a cattle truck or whatever with the tarp over it. And so I guess they just take the chance, because there's not always somebody at the checkpoint.
At some of the checkpoints.
But
and
like
you won't always get stopped. Some places you'll always get stopped.
Right.
But, you know, you got all these roads.
And maybe that's more like for like little mom and pop places are doing that, because our friend who owns a couple restaurants, he won't take that chance.
Yeah, he won't.
He'll say, you know, I cannot risk getting caught. I could lose my my liquor license. And so for him, you know, I'm guessing the people that take the risk either don't know, or they are not licensed to start with, and you know, they just take the loss of that particular purchase.
Now here's a question that says, hey, when you get your passport stamped in the Panama border, can be used for 100-day period reset. Yes, absolutely. Everything resets, even your driving privileges. So, you know, you get your stamp for 180 days. And now, because Costa Rica updated that law, or, you know, then, you know, because it used to be every 90 days, well, now it's 180 days. And now Costa Rica used to, you still got to be careful, you got to be friendly, but used to, it's still totally up to immigration whether to give you 180 days or give you 5 days. You know, you get ugly, you're an entitled gringo, dude, he might give you 5 days. But most of the time, they're almost always going to put it 180 days. Yeah. Matter of fact, I can't remember when was the last time they asked how long we're going to be in Costa Rica. They just stamp 180 days, you know.
Well, they see our passports, though.
Yeah.
Every page is in and out, in and out.
Yeah.
So, but somebody with a fresh passport, they may
they might would ask
question them more.
Well, a lot of times, because you know, I mean, you know, a lot of times they're looking at your plane ticket, okay, and our plane ticket was all the way for 180 days later. If your plane ticket's for a week, they might only give you a week, you know. So you know, those are just things that you need to know about. But hey, we're talking about cost and conserving and all that good stuff. So and look, you know, Doug was talking about downpour, right? And you know, here we are in summer. Okay, here it is, February the 16th. The last, this is day number 4. 4 days in a row we have gotten rain. Now that is insane. You know, I talked to a lot of Ticos. I got a lot of Tico friends, and they're like, I talked to my grandfather. He says he don't remember when it's ever rained in February. Never. So it's kind of weird, the weather we've been getting. And matter of fact, you know, I was telling you last week, I had to go into, get my vehicle fixed. I had the vehicle at the shop. And so I took my motorcycle and went to San Jose. On the way back, I got soaked in wet, man. I got a downpour. It never rains in February. So, of course, I got soaking wet. So, you know, something strange is going on with the weather. Can somebody, if you know what's going on, would you share it with me? Tell me what's going on. Why is it Louisiana, Florida got that much snow? Never happens. Why is it we getting rain in Costa Rica in February? Never happens. You know, we didn't get any sun today. Never. And in February, we're supposed to have sun all day long. So somebody share with me what's going on. So anyway, lots of good stuff.
I can tell you it's not global warming.
It ain't global warming, no. So
that's the Democrats.
Well, see, look, even Doug was saying right now Doug is in La Fortuna, his place. He goes back and forth to the United States, La Fortuna, where he's got a house, and he says it's downpour almost every day. It was bad since he's got here from November until last week.
Really? See, we had a break. We had some sunshine for a few days.
Well, that's what I love. It ain't global warming, and it ain't Trump.
That's right.
I agree with you. Because if Trump finds out about it, he's going to put an end to that. He's going to deport them people.
Somebody's messing with the weather, though.
Somebody's messing with the weather. So anyway, so bottom line is we're talking about, can you save money and how much can you save? If you decide to go to Panama, whether you're just doing a passport run, and really, if you're doing passport runs, it's a whole lot easier to do it in Nicaragua than Panama. Panama is just slap crooked. I'll do that video soon so that I'll give you all the details, the nasty details, the bad and the ugly about going to Panama. Okay. But I think something good is about to happen, and it's Costa Rica's fault, not Panama. Okay. So anyway.
Not fault. It's Costa Rica's.
Not Costa Rica's fault. Costa Rica started this initiative.
Yeah.
You know,
it's a good thing.
It's a good thing. So it's going to be good to find out. And Pamela's,
wow, in the 30s, yeah.
Pamela's like, she's over in the Panhandle of Florida, and it's back into the, she says the 30s this weekend in Panhandle. And she says, oh, no, not 30s, the 20. Can you imagine 20 degrees in the Panhandle of Florida? Not supposed to be that cold.
Yeah.
So, it's kind of weird what's going on in the weather. But hey, if you go to Panama, you can't, and really, in my opinion, even if you lived in the middle of the country, San Jose, and you wanted to go all the way to Panama and stock up on groceries, buy a 3 month, 6 month supply, it would definitely be worth the trip. And while you're there, hey, take a tour of San Vito. Go check out that area. Go to Wilson's Botanical Gardens. Check out a few things, and take a look at what's going on in the deep southern raw Costa Rica area. Because, we enjoyed San Vito, very raw. You don't hardly see any gringos down there, man. And, but hey, it is a lot of fun. Janice says, yeah, when she talks to her contacts in Costa Rica, they say that it's raining in ridiculous amounts. It is kind of weird. I'm hoping that this is not going to be what we're going to see.
I know. I hope it doesn't stay like this, because we need the sunny season.
I mean, it's kind of nice that we are getting a break and getting some rain, because it's usually in a lot of places it gets really, really dry. Where we're at, it doesn't really get dry. And I like my stuff to be, even when we lived in dry places, I would water my grass because I like my grass to be green instead of yellow. I just kind of think grass is supposed to be green. Ticos will spray poison on it because they're like, I ain't supposed to have grass in my yard. It's just, Ticos don't want to have to cut it and everything. So anyway, just a big difference. But so anyway, you can really save some money by going to Panama if you want to make the trip. So in my opinion, even if you live in San Jose and you want to make the trip, have fun, buy a bulk amount, you're not going to get in any kind of trouble. But keep in mind that, that's a duty-free zone. As long as you're not buying a truckload of liquor and stuff like that, and it looks like you're reselling, you're not going to have any problems, okay?
And that may have changed, so don't quote me on that. But years ago, like when we first got here, there was a $500
limit on, where if you got up to $500 worth, you wouldn't have to pay duty or tax on it.
Right. But we had bought a piece of furniture that was like, I think it was $900, and we didn't know any better. We ended up not getting stopped. But then later, remember, somebody told us, oh, if you would have gotten stopped, they could have confiscated your wardrobe.
Yeah. And Janice says, aren't they building a new Paso Canoas? Well, it's not a new Paso Canoas, but hint, hint, I'm not telling you, but it's coming up soon, Janice. So if you haven't hit that like button, you haven't hit that subscribe button, all right, Elon Musk, I finished buffering. So anyhow, we're having a whole lot of fun. And hey, look, so bottom line, go to Panama and have fun, buy up stuff. But now's a good time.
There's not really much else to do, though, in Paso Canoas.
Yeah, there's not. The only thing that you can do in Paso Canoas is buy stuff. It's low. It's hot. You're going to sweat a lot.
You have a hard time finding a good restaurant, although there are one or two. But
yeah. So, and if you eat at a restaurant down there and try to get a glass of red wine, it's going to be cold. It's like, wait a minute. The only cold red wine is fruity cold red wine.
But it's because it's so
hot
there.
They're
they
trying
have
to make it last longer.
Yeah.
They put it in the fridge.
Yeah.
So, hey, if you got any questions on anything, whether it's visiting Paso Canoas or anything else, put your questions in the chat box, and we love to make fun of you. I mean, talk about your question. Rebecca, she might make fun of me all the time, but that's okay. I got used to it. So, hey, I'm kind of like Forrest Gump. She kind of like Jenny. I'm like, my mama told me, stupid is, or life is like a box of chocolate. Never know what you're going to get.
I don't think calling me Jenny is a compliment.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think so.
Jenny, poor Jenny, she was strung out on drugs, huh? Now this is a good question. He asked, are you allowed to drive your Tico car in Panama? Now, used to it wasn't a problem. Used to we could take our car, go to Panama. We could pay $25 for insurance. We'd have to stop at one building, get that $25 for insurance, and get what was called a permiso. You'd have to get a piece of paper so that we could go out and drive into Panama. Now you have to go to the municipality and you got to pay money, and it's not a whole lot, but then you got to pay money to get a permission slip from the government of Costa Rica to say that you could take your car into Panama. Costa Rica makes everything hard for everybody. So,
but with this new change, maybe all that, I'm hoping that all that is, like they're going to cut out all that ridiculousness.
Yeah. Now, Pamela, has a comment. She's like, well, you're not much to work with. Wait a minute. All this good looks right here. Are you talking about brains here? Brains.
No, she said you shouldn't give me so much material to work with. You read it wrong. I was going to say that. You set yourself up.
I set myself. Well,
this is the only time I get to do that.
I have fun.
This is the only time. Otherwise, he's serious.
No, I'm not serious all the time. I'm screwing off all the time.
Maybe it's me that's serious.
Yeah, well, it's Rebecca that's serious. All week long she's so busy working on that computer. She don't see me cutting up in the yard, man. I'm cutting the grass, doing two-step.
But every now and then you set yourself up for a good burn, and I use it. But then afterwards, I'm afraid you take it personally. Yeah. So then I say, I'm just joking. I'm sorry.
She overthinks everything. So anyway. Hey, so in our opinion, of course, we love to share you the good, the bad, and the ugly about Costa Rica. Everything that we do on our channel is free. But hey, you might not have time to go through all of the videos that I have, and you might want to make a phone consultation. Well, hey, if you want to make a phone consultation, look in the description of any video. You can click the link and you can schedule a phone consultation, right? Because time is money. Best thing you can do is join our members only community, $10 a month, and you can ask me whatever questions you want, okay? And you can just have fun. Of course, we're not trying to say you, and if you want a phone consultation, great. If you don't, great. It's like tomorrow I'm going back into San Isidro because, hey, one of the subscribers, he's looking at a house and he wants me to inspect it. And, I like to do that. I always say if you're going to buy a house, you really, 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 really should get someone to inspect your house. I probably don't have time to do it depending on what I'm doing here, but it just so happened he's catching me in a break. I got time to do it, and I'm going to have fun inspecting his house. So, it's important. If you got questions, that's why we do these lives every Sunday. You can ask these questions. And, I love just chit-chatting back and forth with people like Eduardo. He's like, why worry? He's in Guanacaste. He says, I just take the bus. I'm relaxing. I'm enjoying life. I stopped thinking like I'm in the States, right? You get old fast when you're thinking like a gringo. And, you got to understand the culture here is very, very, very different. When you understand the culture, then you don't get so aggravated because you understand the reason why they're doing what they're doing. It's the culture. And that's what changed a lot of my mindset, is getting to where you understand the culture And I always say that, when you come here, you should rent. You should go try things out, because Costa Rica might not be for you. It's not for a lot of people. But Costa Rica really, 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 really gets good when you can control your environment, okay? So CYE, control your environment. When you can control your environment, we're here. It really got good when we got here because, well, we don't have a neighbor next door to us that maybe he wakes up at 5 o'clock, he cranks up his car, or he's taking off on his motorbike. Or, he turns on the radio so loud that he's helping me out because I don't have to play mine. You don't have 5 barking dogs that's waking you up. You can control the environment when you find your slice of paradise, and all those things are important. Okay, but anyway, that's why we love doing what we do. And hey, folks, you don't have any more questions? I can't believe it's been almost an hour, and we just love sharing our perspective. Keep in mind, it's our perspective. If you don't agree with us, that's quite all right. We respect everybody, and we respect what you believe in, your perspective. Yeah. We just like to share what we do.
Things are constantly changing. It's gradual, but things are changing. And so some of the things that we experienced when we first got here, it's different now.
That's right.
And we're up in the middle of nowhere now, so we're not traveling all over anymore. It's difficult
for us to get out and meet folks. Kind of like William. He says, stop by San Raul. I don't know where that's at. You're going to have to tell me where that's at. Have a cup of coffee sometime. I'd love to do that with you, William. You're going to have to send me the location sometime. What you ought to do is you ought to join my email list, subscribe. It's in the link underneath every video. And that way you have my personal email and you can send me up and you can say, hey, Alan, if you happen to be up in my area, this is the location of my area. Stop by and let's have a cup of coffee sometime. I love to do that.
Eduardo mentioned the bus, and it really is easy. You can go to the border by bus.
Yeah,
Costa Rica has an excellent bus system.
You can go to the border by bus. I wouldn't be trying to buy in bulk and then try to put it on the bus.
Right. But you can.
You can.
People put big old boxes of stuff. Yeah,
you can bring a couple of suitcases with you, fill them suitcases up full of groceries, and then put them on the bus. Bring them home.
Yeah. And the car was in the shop, so you used Uber and your motorcycle to get around
all over the place.
So even living outside of a city, Uber is real easy. You don't have to have a car. If you
really in Costa Rica, you don't have to have a car. And look, to be honest with you, I know when we first got here 11 years ago, more people did not have any sort of transportation than those that had cars. Okay?
In the area we're in.
And, especially in the area we were living in. And so now I don't know about today. Some point in that 11 years, because used to banks didn't finance, and then all of a sudden banks started financing, and it got to be where it was easy for people to just go finance a car, and so more and more and more people actually started purchasing cars. Okay, so a lot of things have changed, and things, it's like Rebecca was saying, I hope Costa Rica doesn't change so much, because we love that we can live out here. It's still the wild, wild west. We don't have concrete jungles, it's very, very different. I love that, Now, this is a really great question. He says, do they sell Alan's apple juice in Paso Canoas, and is it the same price? That's black market Alan's apple juice.
But it is cheaper. They include
you can buy any cerveza there at Paso Canoas is cheaper than in Costa Rica. Pretty amazing, okay? And look, now Eduardo mentioned, he says, look, Ticos with pickups will take your things. So absolutely, you can buy a taxi, or you can pay for a taxi truck. So, and that's what we did a couple of times, buying some big, pieces of furniture over at Paso Canoas. We bought a big old wardrobe, and, we bought some things at Paso Canoas, furniture that you could get at a lot cheaper at Paso Canoas than you can in Costa Rica. So we'd go down there and buy 2 or 3 pieces of furniture, and I'd hire a local to put it in his truck and drive it to our house. Now, guess what? It was still cheaper to hire a local to drive it to my house than it was to buy it in Costa Rica. So it's well worth it. Yeah. So anyway. Okay, folks. Hey, we already up on the hour. Hey, folks, I really, really enjoyed our time today. Can't wait till next Sunday. Don't know what we're talking about next Sunday. Maybe you send me an email and let me know what you want to hear about next Sunday. But next Sunday, I got a feeling we're going to be talking about, I don't know, maybe the border. I got an idea. I'm kind of thinking about talking about the shopping experience. Since we're on the topic of shopping in Panama, think about talking about the 7 things that you're going to discover or learn in one trip to the hardware store. Maybe we'll talk about shopping in Costa Rica and how it's so culturally different than anywhere else in the world. All right, folks, we're going to see you next week. Same time, same station, same back channel. Talk to you next week.
Ciao.